When coming to the Philippines, a lot of travelers come straight to Cebu City instead of passing through Manila. It's the perfect jumping off point for the greater Cebu area, which is the most densely populated island in the whole country and is the heart of the Visayas region. The province is filled with good eats.
That's so good.
Beautiful islands.
The water here just looks insanely clear.
And lots of adventure, making it a must-stop in any tourist itinerary. Travel is becoming more accessible, and with that, the places you once loved because of their peaceful isolation might be getting crowded. But that doesn't mean there's nowhere else to look. The Philippines is a country filled with adventure, from the mountains to the sea. Grab a car and create your own journey. This is Going Coastal. All right, I am starting this journey all by my lonesome because Mon and Julius, the two cinematographers that I work with usually, are in the next flight tomorrow. So it's just me today, grabbing my car at Hertz and then just gonna spend the night over here in Cebu. The new counters are located both in Terminal 1 and Terminal 2, making pickup so much more convenient. You can't come to the city and not indulge in some of their delicious food. The most popular one people will tell you to try is lechon, our local version of a suckling pig. But I heard of this dish called nilarang Cebu and knew that I wanted to make it our first stop. So we headed off to Barangay Pasil, where they've been doing it right for years. Like many Filipino dishes, this is not a standardized recipe and more of a technique, because depending on where you are in the Visayas, you will find various versions using different ingredients. This one is made with a very strange fish. The poison in one pufferfish is enough to wipe out 30 humans, and there is no antidote. Yet people still eat it.
Ang nag-start ito ng namin, yung business, ng maliit ng business namin, mga 50 years. 50 years na po. Marami ang nititinda ng larang pero hindi naman hindi pinapakita yung luto-luto nila. Pero sa amin, kita talaga. Kaya ginagaya nila pero hindi talaga nila magaya. Yung talaga ang timpla kasi namin iba eh. Yan sa parents namin eh. Since childhood kasi kami niya, 8 kami magkakapatid. Dito kami nabubuhay sa aming tinda. Kami pa rin kasi para kaming original eh.
Here, it is prepared with a mountain of ginger, scallions, tomatoes, and the whole fish, including its liver, which is said to have the highest level of toxins. It's simmered in water with some seasoning until it achieves a thick stew-like consistency.
All right, I'm back with my boys, so it's time to eat. This is the first meal of the day, and I am absolutely famished, and this looks insane. That process was just so dramatic and beautiful to see, and all those little ingredients, I'm sure, make a massive difference in terms of the flavor of this dish. Let's try it. It's like super thick, almost like gravy-like. Fuck, that's so good. It's like a punch of flavor, like it's savory, extremely acid. You have like a hint of the fish liver in there that's there, but it feels like such a hearty dish for a fish dish. Let's try it with some rice. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That makes so much sense. Ooh, I got an eyeball right here. Perfect. Who doesn't love an eyeball? I'm totally digging this thing. I'm gonna finish this whole thing. And if this is the start to our food adventures in Cebu, it's gonna be a good episode. So buckle up, guys.
On the next street, we heard that it was time for tuslob buwa. You will find modern versions of this dish in restaurants around Cebu, but we wanted to try the original ones that are just served on the street. It's said to have originated in this part of town, and its literal translation is to dip in bubbles. A paste made of pig brains, pork liver, innards, onions, and soy sauce is fried off in some pork lard and expanded with some broth, developing this gravy-like consistency that you can keep adding broth to.
So this place has been here since the 80s. This is the proper tuslob buwa. You have a lot of places now opening up where they individualized everything, but at first it was a very kind of communal dish where people, right here, we're in Barangay Pasil, right on the street, and all of this is served with puso. So anyone rocks up to the counter there, buys the puso, and then the dip. The dip of God. I can already imagine this. It's gonna be like super like creamy, delicious. Look at that. that flavor, I can't describe it. It's like, you know when you have a lechon, basically the part between the lechon crispy skin and the laman, and right in between you kind of have that cover of just fat. Yun, cheers! Cheers!
1980 kami nagsimula ng Tuslobuwa. Ngayon hanggang ngayon, ulit namin Tuslobuwa. Ayun, ang utok, yung bami, yung Shanghai. Single ako, hanggang ngayon. Palang age natin, 53 ako. Hanggang ngayon, Tuslobuwa pa rin akong kuhan. Bininta namin.
With a little space left in our stomachs, we headed off to Punco Punco sa Fuente, and I was not ready for this experience.
This is an insane amount of food. Like, you literally walk in and there are Tupperwares of just fried goods in a massive display in front of the tables. You can kind of sit with whoever you want. And I think the concept is just you grab whatever you want. So I get like 2.
Maybe 4?
Maybe 4. Maybe 4.
You never know.
Salamat. So you get chicharron first.
Then
Dip it in the sauce. I mean, you come to Cebu for the lechon, I would come from the chicharron bulaklak and puko puko for sure. I love Cebu already.
So after all that delicious food, we are driving all the way up to Danao Port, which is going to be our jump-off point to go to Camotes Islands. The traffic here is crazy. I don't know how you guys do it.
We spent about an hour looking for space in one of the roros that could take us to our next port destination.
Alright, so we're finally on the boat. This should be an hour and a half to 2 hours. It's 6 p.m., so we should get there around 8 p.m. Probably find a place to chill, have some dinner, but tomorrow is going to be really exciting because it's going to be the first time I've ever been to the Camotes Island, but also the first time I'll ever go spearfishing, so I'm super stoked.
Most people exploring Greater Cebu will head south to the whale sharks or north to the breathtaking islands of Malapascua or Bantayan. In our research though, we didn't read much about the Camotes group of islands, so we opted to visit these instead. It's a group of 3 islands that have everything from beautiful white beaches to caves and a very laid-back attitude with only a few resorts and restaurants to choose from. Perfect for the DIY adventure we wanted to experience.
All right, time check, 9 p.m. Basically, we are in a small town of San Francisco. We found this like really cool looking eatery because we were hungry. But we're finally in Camotes Island. We're in between Pahican and Boro basically, and we will be staying the night over here. Right now, we're just gonna eat because I'm starving. We've been eating all day. That's all we've been doing. The food here looks so legit, and it tastes delicious.
What I love about driving, it gives you the flexibility to explore the way you want to, and that's why I love what Hertz is doing, because it gives you that facility and that accessibility. Like, whereas in each island we'd have to kind of secure vans and people and everything, here we can just leave it with all our group, one car, go all the way down. So now we're a 20-minute boat ride away from our destination, and today is going to be filled with fun activities and just lots of discovery, and the water here just looks insanely clear. I'm excited.
Joining us on this trip was our local guide Raymund and his 2 spear fishermen friends Daryl and Renante. We looked for a bangka to rent for the day so that we could explore the waters around Pilar and try to catch some fish.
So all the freediving that I've been doing over the past months is because my dream is to go spearfishing and freediving at the same time. I've never done it before, and it's something that I've been looking forward to. There's a couple things to remember with freediving and spearfishing. It's probably the most sustainable way of fishing because you only catch what you need. So everything that we're going to be catching today is going to be for our dinner and our lunch, but also something that we can give back to the community that's in the island over there. So we're only going to be catching what what we need. And at the same time, you know, you're down there with no scuba tanks, so you're really limited in terms of what you can actually get, which is super important, and everyone should bear in mind. We went to see the mayor too, just to ask for permission if we could spearfish here. So that's the proper way of doing it. So again, I've never done it.
It's okay.
Raymond.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to teach me like how this actually works.
Never shoot it when the background of it are corals or something.
Yeah.
Because it will go through it.
So only shoot towards the open water.
Towards open water.
Okay.
Away from your co-spiro.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to relax.
Really relax.
Everything is about patience and everything.
And usually the depth at which we catch the big fish.
This area here, 6, you'll never know, 6 or 10.
Okay.
Safest is 10.
10 meters.
10
All right, that's
10
fine.
meters. And never go down spearfishing without a buddy.
Yeah,
It's very important.
super key. All right, so
Yeah.
what are we attempting to catch?
We had that triggerfish already, so
Yeah.
we need something for kilaw.
Kilaw.
Kinilaw, yeah.
Okay.
Maybe mackerel.
You do that. I'll
Yeah,
get a
you
clown. I'll get a clownfish. That's my goal.
Came from the mud. There's dirt on my hands. Strong like a tree. There's roots where I stand. Oh, I've been running from the law. Hope they won't shoot me down soon. They sing on a sleepless night. Try to catch me howling at the moon. Try to catch me howling at the moon. Try to catch me howling at the moon. Try to catch me howling at the moon.
That was much harder than what I expected it to be. It looks so easy when you see it, but when you actually do it, it's really tough. There's a couple things. One, you have to spot the fish, which if you're not used to it and the visibility isn't great, you won't be able to because they look this small from above, but then you go downstairs and they're like all the way this big. Two, once you're down there, you have to really keep your breath. We're down there at 16, 17 meters and we're just waiting. All of a sudden you see a fish from afar and you have to kind of do maybe 10, 15, 20 more meters, but you don't have any breath left. So you kind of just chase it and then you realize, shit, I don't have any air. Like I think I got 2 shots off and I didn't have anything to show for it, but these guys caught a lot. So we have enough to eat and that's all we could ask for.
It's hard to spot.
There was like rainbow runners, like 5 of them were like this.
You saw them?
You were too far away.
Ah. Yeah, you're fast, man.
Jesus.
Tangigi, king mackerel.
Beautiful.
And me, nada, nothing.
Even though I was unsuccessful, our companions were having a field day. In this case, experience definitely pays off. We kept what we needed to prepare for dinner and gave the rest to the community. Before we knew it, we had spent about 5 hours in the water, so we rushed back to the island and a big rainfall took us by surprise. We found a little grocery store in Pilar to grab the ingredients that we needed for the night.
So time to make some dinner. We pulled out a beautiful sashimi loin right here from the tanige or Spanish mackerel, so we'll try that in a sashimi version. So the plan tonight is we're making sutukil, right? So something in a soup, something grilled, and then something Kilauean version.
I can't make a move like a child of stone.
On the menu, as simple as it gets, a mix of raw, grilled, and fish cooked in soup.
Tears that flows to the sea. Baby, if you run away, baby, if you leave.
We're on the Roro now, headed back to Danao City. You might be wondering why we decided to go to Camotes and not to Bantayan or Malapascua. I feel like those places are beautiful, but they're quite developed already when it comes to tourism, and which is why we decided to come to Camotes, because it was a bit more raw, a bit more organic, which is usually what we kind of look for. We unfortunately weren't able to show you the beaches and everything because it just started raining. We were supposed to shoot all that today. But there's a bunch of beaches and coves here that are absolutely gorgeous. Then you have one of the biggest lakes, Lake Danao, which is right in the middle of this island as well, which a lot of people come here for. A lot of local tourists do come here, but it's still kind of off the map. So if you really want to explore and discover something new, then Camotes Island is the place to go.
We loaded our car on the earliest Roro, but before heading back to Cebu City, I had one last stop to make.
Last stop before the airport, we're at Entoy's Bakasihan, which is super famous here, obviously made even more famous by Netflix show. I've never been here, so I was really kind of curious about the food here. I met him in Manila. He's a really sweet guy. Broth is like super clean, gingery. You can taste some soy in there, some scallions. And then these are the eels. So these are like baby little eels. I don't even know how you eat this. I know, it's so small. Screw it. Super tender, super clean. I've had small eels before, and a lot of times you get this kind of like earthy, muddy taste. But here it's nice and clean. I understand now why they feature this. This is delicious.